All righty.
The dude.
It is the crossover. Welcome, Willard and Dibs. How you doing?
Steiny.
Hi, boys.
Yeah, what's good?
How was Bowtie Monday?
Oh, I had a phenomenal time. And I'm in the business now, so I got to be careful, Willard. There's some intel I can tell you, Dibs, and some I can't. You know,
I heard this on the drive-in.
We're off the record, you know.
I mean, Captain off the record over here.
4 people said Steiny and I listened to Change Their Lives, and 2 said they love our changeover, the crossover.
Well,
so love to you guys, and your name came up.
Yeah, hello to whoever you wonderful people are.
No doubt, true story.
Afternoon.
We can't name names because Guru apparently his entire night was off the record.
Well, no, it wasn't.
He was rubbing elbows so much.
It was incredible,
He had to get a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of your life outside of these 4 hours is off the record. Am I right?
I feel like you got I don't like that depiction of me. No, Willard, I'm a family guy.
Of course you are. I didn't say that I'm not a family guy.
That had like triple X.
I didn't make you know. I'm not talking criminal behavior.
I got you.
Just,
Willard,
certain things are for certain people.
Seeing guys and gals in that room for that prestigious award, and I thought to myself, man, I don't belong. I'll never be in any Hall of Fame, but seeing all of it and the Bobby Evans and the Sabians and the John Taylors was incredible. And I asked Steiny, just real quick here, if somebody were to introduce you, who would you have?
Oh, God.
Mine was Norm. Willard. Who would Willard bring him? You got a best friend?
No, this is me. Like
I sense a whoop coming.
No. My kids.
Okay. Because you only can pick one. That's why I told Steiny your 3 daughters.
No,
I
got to force all 3 of them to say something nice about me. That's all.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
You got to put down my video game.
Exactly.
I would go with, as it sits right now, I would go with Barry Tompkins.
Wow.
Barry Tompkins.
He's very
early mentor.
Wonderful man.
The best. And
God, what a wonderful
good at his
man.
job, too, though.
I've told the story before. I was working in Ross up in Marin, and this is damn near 30 years ago now, and I'm doing Pee-wee baseball, 4- and 3-year-olds, and up comes this rather tall and stocky Hawaiian kid, and I look up, and it's his dad, Barry Tompkins. So I tried not to run right over because I wanted to get in the business. And so after a couple weeks, getting to know the kid and seeing Barry, I went over and I said, hey, Barry, I just want to say, huge fan, love your work. And, I'm kind of trying to get into it. And he said, hey, anytime, let's talk. And we had maybe 15 conversations, and he helped me in ways that I could never pay him back.
That's awesome.
That would be the guy.
I think I have an answer.
Because he didn't have one earlier.
I didn't have one earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt. Brian Geltzeiler.
That's what he said earlier. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Go through that out. Because first Guru's like, how about the big fella? How about Dana? And then I think you actually said Brian Geltzeiler, Sirius XM.
I mean, he was very enthusiastic about the Warriors. So
and he likes you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good, dude.
How you doing, Mark?
Yeah. How am I doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
How do you mean?
It seems like a loaded question.
Yeah.
How am I doing?
I don't know.
In what? Which part of me?
Well, we just spent the first 2 hours of the show kind of talking Giants and fans and where they've, taken the big picture from 2015 to now and how did they get here and all those and why, why. And I'll start this way. What the Giants did in 2010 through 15 was a phenomenon. It was unbelievable. They took the city over. The fans were all over the place. Everybody knew when the games were, who they were playing, who was it was. I couldn't believe it. They owned this town.
Players with one name identifiers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's a good call.
And kind of where are they now? And I seem to remember, wasn't it during a crossover yesterday, or you? We were talking about the Giants, and you were just like, yeah. And that's you.
That's him.
Like, you're the biggest Giants guy, and you're even,
the Daubers down.
Exactly.
Read his Twitter. Yeah, I'm like, this ain't the Willard I know.
So what's got you down, Mark?
That's a 2.
Little Roy Firestone.
Yeah, seriously. Do I have to turn to my left and look at a mirror right now and be like,
not gonna
the
cry,
Giants are
Steiny.
good enough? They're smart enough? And gosh darn it, people don't like them right now.
Stuart Smalley.
Yeah, I'm incredibly disappointed. I'm incredibly disappointed on so many levels. And I say that with the backdrop of 6 games under 500. It's only 36 games in, and in any moment, in theory, this could turn around and go the other way.
But it's bigger than this year, though.
Well, yes and no. It most certainly is. Obviously, the larger conversation that we've all been having. But I've, I hear what you guys are saying. I've kind of been the one with super glue on my hands, trying to at least vocally keep this together for the last few years. And something about this year has very, very much made it feel like the dam is broken for me. And the only thing I can liken it to is it's sort of made me feel like an addict. That's which I'm not, by the way. I mean, well, we're all addicted to something.
Orange and blackaholic.
I mean, I do have these damn bubble sodas every day.
Yeah.
Anyway,
going right to your hips.
It's made me feel like an addict. And here's what I mean by that. The addict will say, or will tell everybody, I got it, and it's going to be okay, and we've got it figured out. This time, it's going to be different. This time, I've got it. This time, it's under control. So this year, when the Giants had a new manager, spent a bunch of money, brought in players that felt like there was a middle of the order, and something hit me the other day, and I'm not going to name his name, but someone who used to wear the uniform texted me the first of Bryce Harper's 3-run home runs went over the fence. Wow. And the text was 2 words. Anyone want to guess what the text was?
Trouble brewing.
No.
OS.
No. How about you, Go?
Intentional walk.
No.
We stink.
No.
Got away.
At a certain point, I can just go ahead and I'll spill the beans.
Yeah.
Game over.
Wow.
And I remember this all too well from prior to 2021. And it was whenever the Giants fell down by multiple runs, y'all can just go get a snack. You can turn it off and head for the rest of your night. And 2021 was what turned it around. If you remember why that season was so special, 107 wins, but they kept fighting.
Darren Ruff, left and right.
They would come back, and they would be down 4 runs, and then they would
late night
Lamont.
You're right.
And this team,
Yaz hit 25.
Oh, man.
This team is devastating because they finally did all of the things that a lot of people ask them to do, and not a damn thing is different. There's still no jersey you want to buy. There's still no middle of the order. You can't even score 4 in a damn game.
One time in the last 11?
2 weeks, yeah.
And even that was a funny way to score 4.
Wow.
A guy in his 3rd major league at bat accidentally barreled one in the 9th to lose by less. And it just, I find all of that to be this year, with excitement having built at the beginning of the year, I find it devastating for the fans. Devastating.
But that's not on Farhan, Melvin.
It's on everybody.
It's on everybody.
Sure.
It's on everybody.
But your approach at the plate, if we're not hitting collectively, I would look at I'm being real, the
That's
hitting
on Pat
coach.
Burrell. It's on all of them.
Okay, all right,
I don't think anybody in that clubhouse right now is blameless. Even Logan Webb.
Wow. Oh, man.
Back-to-back rough outings.
We just talked about it.
I mean, maybe Camilo Doval, who's got 6 saves. I don't think he's blown one. He hasn't had that many opportunities. He's got a fancy new entrance and they dim the lights and the whole thing with the LEDs.
Not really fancy enough.
Well,
anyway.
it's not fancy enough because they do it every 3 weeks. But
that's a good
if
point.
you graded the free agent acquisitions right now through 36 games, which is premature.
It really is.
If we're doing school, this would be like the first of 6 trimesters. And right now your report card's coming home, and it's mostly D's and F's.
Cinch notice. Remember they used to send the cinch notice before the
Exactly,
report
and you had to beat your parents to the mailbox.
I got a B+, 2 D's, and an F.
Jung Hoo Lee gets a B+.
Yep.
The D's are Chapman and Soler.
Correct.
Wow.
Snell is an incomplete, but really it's an F.
It's an F until
No
it's
doubt.
not.
No
Right.
doubt.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I guess that is
What
just
about
the
what
end
did
of the list,
Bowmel
right?
get? This is.
I don't
See,
even
this is
know-
where I'm
right.
at. I'm interested.
I don't know how to
Yeah,
do that
it's
after
tough.
36 games. You know,
But
it's
you
a-
gave the other guy
I would give him a
Right,
C
'cause
minus at best.
Yeah, so like I look at the manager a little bit different because that's less tangible. Like I can't look at a box score and go, so what'd you do tonight? There are questions about the lineup. Like sometimes
Soler was down to 7th. I ain't mad at it, but
but there have been days where you're like, why is that?
Flores
Yeah.
lead. I get it.
Why are you doing that? And it feels slow, but I'm going to give him the benefit of like he's still feeling out who he's got. This is a new deal
Sure.
for him. Who he's got? What can they do?
He did
So-
botch a pitching change earlier.
No doubt,
Which
and
we
I-
would have
and-
absolutely grilled Kapler.
And
Wow,
and
man.
by the way, yesterday afternoon, like Mason Black should not have been given another opportunity to
Yep.
go through that lineup
You're
again.
right.
He had not thrown that many pitches all year. And you know, like then again,
He got off to a good start.
that's what we asked for because last year if you pulled someone out of a shutout and the bullpen came in and gave up runs, oh, Kapler, you were going to get your vest on
Right.
before the postgame. So
Jordan Hicks has been
that's
awesome.
why
Yeah.
that's why it's tough for me on a manager because we really in 36 games you probably have 7 times where you're looking at Bowmel and going, there's a decision that we can now assess. Most nights, with the manager, what'd you do?
Well, I look
you
at
stood
them
there and watched the game.
And why I didn't like Kapler real quick. Dibs as a manager to me is the psychiatrist.
Exactly.
So, Larry, let me talk to you to get you out of that funk. And I don't think Kapler had that pedigree, and I won't say chance, but Bowmel, I look at what happened in San Diego because you had everything at your disposal in regard to talent, and I'm not mad at him, but you couldn't crack what was going on in that clubhouse, and maybe Dr. Roof couldn't either.
Well-
but now I'm like, this should be a tad bit easier from the mental. And early on, everybody's still scrapping.
Well,
on,
he looks better if they play better. And that's,
The San Diego thing is a good question.
I
but
just-
here's I want to. What do you guys think about this? Does it? Okay, Padres should have been better, right?
no doubt.
And there was a manager versus GM like total breakdown.
And player versus player, total breakdown.
But the fact that Chapman from prior in his career and then Snell followed him here,
I give you that.
does that give you any sort of pause
No, I
in
give you
terms
that.
of like
They enjoyed working playing for the guy.
and I could tell you that if you ask a Padre fan after last year, Bowmel versus their GM, AJ Preller, who are you mad at? It's Preller.
All right.
Big time. So I would just say, how about for a manager, we have a different pace of report cards, and I'm not to the grading period yet.
Yep.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, an Odyssey sports station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Upgrade your savings dividend. Open a First NorCal first-class money market today. Did you hear we had Brian Sabian on?
I had heard that. I didn't hear the piece, but I heard you guys were having him on.
Yeah, did not hear that.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, my gosh,
He
man.
was overly praising this area and the fans and his experience here, and just
Smart man.
yeah,
Coming off of getting inducted into the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame.
Chris Berman, back.
Oh, he did
Yeah,
the intro.
Chris Berman did it,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Did you talk to Chris at all?
No, I didn't.
You didn't get over
Yeah, I ran out of little gas.
Okay.
Yeah, little red wine.
Which grape? Which grape? You don't even know.
Yeah, no, I was
It's the red kind, yeah.
Whatever the hell they were pouring.
Sure. Probably a little Pinot.
I brought up at the very end, I brought up the lunatic fringe.
He did.
I said, I still remember it to this day, and he couldn't remember that it was Vladimir Guerrero that everybody was wanting back then.
Yep.
And he shared that back then the reason he did that was because every once in a while there's conventional wisdom out there, and differently.
Yeah.
And he just felt like he had to say it. And what he said was he knew Vladimir Guerrero didn't want to play here.
Okay.
Like he knew Vladimir didn't want to come here. Plain and simple. And he knew that, I guess, from Felipe Alou, who
Sure.
had much. Who was
In Montreal.
Right.
Yep.
And so that's why he addressed it like he addressed it. Like we can't get this guy.
Brian famously at a different San Francisco outlet.
Okay.
Walked into a conference room once upon a time. This is going way back now. And if my memory and the story serves correctly, this was after the Matt Williams and Jeff Kent deal, which if you do know the history of Giants baseball, you know that at first glance, Giants fans, not pleased at all. Like, you trading away favorites, right? And he walked in and he addressed the masses there because he wanted to. This was Brian putting on a PR hat.
Yeah.
I'm going to go talk to the people who talk about me. And the famous line that he screamed to the group, I am not an idiot.
Wow.
I am not an idiot. And it speaks to what you just said about sometimes you know what the masses don't know. You know, if you had told, and Matt Williams is still a favorite and he's back in the organization now, but if
I wish Will Clark, well, he is, but yeah.
If the masses had known that Jeff Kent was going to win an MVP.
Well, they had Bonds under contract then too, right?
Yep.
And that's what he said. I asked him, do you, as you're making a trade, do you prepare for what the fan reaction may be? And what he said was, we had no choice at that point. We had most of our payroll tied up in two guys, and we needed to get more balanced. And that particular trade, he said, like, wasn't a no-brainer.
It wasn't perfect.
But it wasn't difficult for him because he thought it just made all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So tell me if I told Steiny and the listeners this. You guys tell me if I'm being fair. So I'm in the house last night, and I'm watching Larry Bear, who chopped it up with me. Saw him at the bar. I didn't say, how you doing, Larry? He chopped it up with me. Bobby Evans.
Get a drop? Like, what? Thank you.
Bobby
Good
Evans
Lord.
and Sabian. And I watched them. I had the Guru cam of the room is coming to them, but they're also working the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are heavyweights. And this is where I want to be careful here. I watched Farhan Dibs, and I just felt like he wanted to go to a room where there was nobody in there. He didn't work it like I thought a guy in his position. And I got to be careful because I don't know what goes into that,
right,
how much that helps you be successful. But I'm watching from afar like there's a difference in Evans and Sabian and Larry Bear than the guy that's on the clock now.
Well, those guys are undefeated. And Larry Bear, I mean, if the team doesn't do well or they do play well, he still is a part owner of the team.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of undefeatedness that goes with that. Evans and Sabian, they're out of the game. So they don't have to worry about it.
So they're made.
Much more, at ease. And I don't know if Farhan's default is to work the room anyway. He doesn't strike me as a guy who wants to be out there pressing the flesh. It seems to me that he'd be more comfortable, like, scouting players and running the numbers.
I was surprised he was there.
I'd love to chop this up with you guys for a sec. I think Farhan Zaidi is not the same person he was when he arrived here 5 years ago.
Because
a
of
little more unease?
Failure?
When I first met Farhan Zaidi, this would surprise people. Thank you. This is somebody who could walk in and command a conversation.
Man.
He is not the dork that y'all think he is. This is someone who is, like, engaging, is fun to talk to, like, rip a cuss word or two in the like, this is a dude now. This is a get a beer with the guy dude. I know y'all think he's a spreadsheet. This is a get a beer with the guy dude.
Wow.
I think he has been incredibly affected by the sound of the reaction to him, and the pressure has built in the last 2 years, and that makes somebody crawl in a hole.
You think I might have saw some of that yesterday?
I absolutely do.
Wow.
And I also don't think that kind of an event to celebrate his predecessor is his sweet spot. And in fact, I'd argue, in my opinion, if you really want to dive deep, this is his biggest weakness. His biggest weakness and his biggest mistakes have been when he got here, he was way too focused on making sure that this regime, we all know it, right? What did they want to be?
The smartest men in
They
the
wanted to be right.
Yeah, wow.
And so when they wanted to be right, what that meant was we got to make sure that we're not being compared to what was already here. And they have gone to some surprising lengths to somewhat erase what was the greatest stretch in the history of San Francisco Giants baseball.
I brought up Bochy to Sabian.
All the way, like Bruce now, and that was predetermined when he arrived. Okay. But from Bruce Bochy being out to pulling pictures off the damn wall.
That's ridiculous, man.
And Brian Sabian is, in my mind, he is the poster behind all of this. The disenfranchisement of him. This is a consultant within the organization who I know, and he won't say this on your show. Let me say it for him. He felt very strongly that he wanted to still have a voice. Somebody call me and just ask for my opinion.
He's doing that with the Yankees.
Somebody asked for my advice. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
A consultant who wouldn't be consulted with.
There you go. They would not talk to him. They did not want his fingerprints on this because they wanted to be right.
And erase the part of the past. That is the biggest, oh my goodness.
It has been their biggest weakness, and right now is teetering on being their undoing.
That's insecurity at the utmost.
Completely. And Mark's right about them wanting to do it their way and to get full credit. And, the last thing they would have wanted is to consult with Sabian and have it work. And then some people think, well, it's the old regime. It's just a carryover. Yeah. It's Sabi saves. So that's all fine and good if you go out and you have success. And I do think that's why Farhan is showing a little bit more unease, because he was supposed to come in here and fix the farm and build up the Major League roster, and they really haven't done that. The farm is in no better place than it was before he came.
And I thought Luciano Mato, and we saw a glimpse of it under Kapler, and Casey Schmidt or Chapman. I'd rather have Casey Schmidt at third as a youngster failing as opposed to Chapman. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, I think our default when a team, we're watching this with the Warriors right now too, right? Our default when a team is struggling is, crap, play the young people.
Well, you can't now.
Yeah, like I'm not right now. Your payroll is almost $200 million. You're not going to just hand the keys over to, right? Like you'll stink and get fired.
I don't like the part of
at some point you've got to take your failing vets, not your high-priced Chapman, who Mark had a funny tweet about. Well, he's pretty much going to opt in.
No, we just
I'm so sorry for the people who didn't catch the sarcasm.
Yes,
I'm like, looks like Snell and Chapman might opt in.
Right,
we just talked about it.
But the Austin Slater thing, and we can continue to drill down on that. How long do you want to let Austin struggle and fail? Because it's not like.
What's the average down to now?
If you DFA Austin Slater, if you send him out on the street, I don't think that someone's going to pick him up and he's going to come back to haunt you. I don't think that's going to be the way that goes. So,
wow.
All right, guys. Well, you have at it. And it sounds like you got a wonderful show coming up. And this is always the portion of the show that's a little bit awkward,
and depressing, by the way.
Don't go anywhere. You'll always want to leave it on 95.7, The Game.